Hello and welcome everybody. We have the patch notes from the Global Labs on May 22nd, 2026. Let's get right into it. So apparently we're having the last PvP update. So we're going to be looking at that. Last week was Succession Kunoichi pretty much. Now it is supposed to be Awakening. I'm not too sure on it since Awakening is quite strong, but we'll see what happens. So on the Gyeongtanchu, the super armor has been changed to a frontal guard. Crescent Slash has been changed, so stamina is not recovered during skill actions. And it has also been changed that the defense will disappear immediately after an attack. Yeah, this is sounding like a nerf already. The Wollyongbi, the stun effect on successful hit has been turned into a PvE only. It has also been changed so that the appearance is visible immediately after movement is finished. Raining Moonlight, a stun effect has been added to a successful hit, and the down smash has been removed. And the Flow Circle Dance, the effect of the Defense Judgment has also been changed from Super Armor to Super Armor while using the skills, so there might be a little bit more of a gap there. Then, moving on, we have Lahn Awakening being touched on a little bit. So, according to PA, Lahn has been performing exceptionally well, driven by the increased utility of Deadly Dance since the last update. To address this, they've changed the skill to consume stamina and increase its cooldown, requiring players to use it more carefully. So here we can see Dance of Death being touched upon, so the willpower will be changed to endurance or stamina for 200. The cooldown has been changed from 6 to 8 seconds, and then we have some PvP application changes. So flow cutting is going to go down to 40.5, Dance of Death going down to 34%, and Descent going down to 35.3. Small adjustments, generally in the 2 to 4% range, nothing too crazy. Striker Awakening, according to PA, is a melee DPS that excels at disrupting enemy formations with Battlecry, while absorbing enemy damage is necessary during these disruptions. He has been able to sustain combat with high survivability even outside of the situations, therefore they are making adjustments. Explosive Combo, the HP recovery effect per hit on successful hits has been changed from 98 to 200. Ferocious Raid, the health recovery effect has been removed. The Flow Grabbing skill health recovery has also been removed. The Roar of the Struggle HP recovery effect on successful hits has been changed from 180 to 224. And Spiral Bullet, the HP recovery has been removed. And the All Evasion increase effect has been changed from plus 36 to plus 24. Mystic, again, PvP feels that the Mystic's Awakening Dragon Rip, where opponents were pulled in and left with no way to escape. The defensive effect of Dragon's Rip has been changed to a forward guard, exposing her to CC. However, its combo was adjusted so that she can cancel the skill and use other skills based on the defensive judgment. So this is going to be a big one. This seems to be her main suction if I figured it out. So the Eye of the Dragon or Dragon's Rip. The defense judgment will be changed from a super armor to a frontal guard, and improvements have been made to allow for quick chaining into flash step, shadowless step, and first strike. Now, when she pulls people in and they get behind her, yeah, that's going to be a problem. This could definitely push her into a different category. And then we have Drakania Succession being touched upon. So, overall, PA views her as being able to thrive on the battlefield, leveraging the relentless healing of the Parthenon's heart to continue fighting. Following the previous increase to HP recovery, they have added ion stockpiling to her initiating skills, which is going to be the Azure Onslaught. Additionally, they made some improvements that when she successfully stockpiles ions, whether by dealing damage with Parthenon's Dominion or by taking risks with Prime Skewer, she can unleash even more empowered attacks. So looking at that, we have the Lung Piercing, Unprotected R&B skill. It will now recover 9 ions instead of 6. The Parthenon's Domain is a super armor skill, very slow, stationary. It will recover double, so it's 6 instead of 3. Lightning Fire Annihilation, that's the down C. The Brimbolt's skill, that is frontal guard, 3 to 6, so we have 1 frontal guard skill with more ions. Then we have the Blue Assault getting 3 ions on successful hit, that is the WE super armor skill. And then finally we have the Ascension skill, which is down C. The cooldown has been changed to 10 seconds from 12. Moving on, Woosa, PA pretty much, unlike those of unlike those of other classes, Woosa's movement functioned differently depending on the direction, forward, backward, left, or right. With this update, they have unified the mechanisms of her movement skills so they can be used in any direction intuitively. So we see the Nobleman's Walk, Immortal's Walk, and Lotus Immortal's Walk. The Immortal Step skill has been changed to activate even after Noble Step. The Fresh Step skill has been changed so that it can be activated even during its cooldown. Accordingly, the Immortal Step skill has been changed so that it can be activated instead of the Yangbang Step or Immortal Step skills when they are on cooldown. And again, with the above changes, the activation method for linking into the Yangbang Step, Sinseon Walk, and the Gion Sinseon Walk has been changed. Nobleman's Walk, Immortal Walk, Lotus changed so that stamina is not recovered until the animation ends when using the Immortal Walk skill. General class modifications and changes on Drakania. This would most likely affect Awakening. They fixed an issue where the adventurer could intermittently not see special animation effects for grab skills when changing the Piercing Spear skill after Storm Assault. I do believe that is Awakening. Then we have Meiwa. They fixed an issue where the sound effects in the demonstration video for Moonrise skill were unnatural. Then we have Altar of Blood, the second vision of the Abyss being added. This is the expansion of Altar of Blood. The minimum attack power is 395 with a recommended final attack power of 1895. Defense recommendation is 450 and 760 as the final. In the Illusion of the Abyss, a device allows you to predict appearance locations has been removed, and so pretty much like the current first vision, you don't see where the mobs are coming from. Upon completing the Vision of the Abyss, you will obtain the weekly rewards, Blood Spoils Vision of the Abyss, and upon opening it, you can get the following rewards. You have guaranteed the Origin of the Luminous Predation, Valkset Weiss, Traces of Nature, Sealed Black Magic Crystals, Kaphra Stones, Ancient Spirit Dust, Black Stones, and Gold Bar Boxes. And then you have the chance for the upgraded items, a 200, 250, and 300 stack, extra or predations, or the pity pieces, or extra gold bars, up to 15, which is quite a lot. You can also obtain the first step of the Blood Abyssal Vision upon completing it for the first time, so again, a first time clear reward. For this, you will also get the Radiant Predation, 2 gold bar boxes. Pretty much you can obtain between 3 and 10 gold bars of 1 kg each. Also, the time required for Alkeda's spirit to disappear in the Altar of Blood has been increased by approximately 20 seconds compared to before. Then we have a small thing, some item stacking. So the following items have been improved so that they can be stacked into a single slot in places such as bags and warehouses. For that, we have the Gula Steed Training Selection Box, Krogdala Harness Crafting Support Box, Combat Life and Scroll Selection Boxes, Skill Change Ticket Selection Boxes, Artisan Worker 1-2, Splashing Fishing Suit Sets, the Diving Suit Set for the 7 days, Horse Gear Set Selection Boxes, Underwire Glasses Boxes, Accessory Boxes of both variations, both mouth and ear, and bundles of pointed black crystal or sharp crystal shards, and boss equipment exchange coupons. Then the other thing that will be interesting a lot of people, they have adjusted the Central Market max prices. We're going to be going through this in detail. These will all be activated the next patch. First off, we have the energy potions. They used to be at 1.3, 2.7, 4.5, 5.7 pretty much. They will now be going up to 5.4 for the lowest, 10.8 for the medium, large, 18 million, and 23 million for the extra large. Pretty much a 300% increase. Then we have some sap price changes. So we see, for example, Tuya sap going up by 67%, Ash Tree sap 138%. As you can see, we had a lot of wild max prices. It is being unified to 50,000 each as the max price for anything. Pretty much the percentage depends on how close the sap already was. Continuing with meat, we have a similar thing. Prices are being unified to 50,000 each across the entire board. Same thing for the dried fish. All dried fish are going into the 30,000 plus range. There is still some differentiation, which is a bit odd, but hey. So we have 30,700 or 32,400 or 32,200, but pretty much it is across the board above 30,000. I didn't see anything that is anything below that anymore. And then finally we have some other items. So the traditional cooking tools from Lahn and Morning Light and the Alchemy are going up to 27.5 mil in both cases. Then we have a fishing rod going up to 100 million. I'm not sure which fishing rod that is. Then we have the 1,000-year-old wild ginseng going up to 10 billion. That is quite an increase. The raw heart also going up to 10 billion, and the steadfast heart going up to 10.5. And then finally we have Delosia powder going up to 50,000, and the purified Delosia reagent going up to 80,000. So overall we're getting some increases across the board there. We're also having a small change. The Steadfast Master Matchlock and Marty Sniper, Steadfast Marty Sniper rifles, you can now use the Mirror of Balance as of the patch, and then you will not get the steel, you will actually get your Steadfast Heart of Raw back. Then we have a small change for Quint and Maraca. So there was an issue with Quint's attack motions being awkward. This has been fixed. Maraca's gimmick for summoning black crystals has been changed. So when Maraca summons the black crystal, the range of the safe zone formed behind the crystal has been expanded. If Maraca's HP drops below a certain level during the black crystal gimmick, he will now immediately stand up and resume combat without waiting for the gimmick to end. Then the visibility of the range indicator for the roar attack cast by Maraca after summoning the black crystal has been improved, and there was an issue with the back attack skill being applied when striking the summoned black crystals. Camera effects have also been added to the Maraca's attacks, and they fixed an issue where the elephant trap knockdown debuff was applied when hit by attacks from Quint and Maraca. Quest and Knowledge, the Elvia Ataraxian quest, which can no longer be processed in the recommended quest, has been removed. Nothing too crazy there. Background NPC effects and cutscenes, this is a big one. So the great alchemist Alistan taught Dalashane the method of transmuting an energy recovery potion. So you will now be able to get your energy potions from any Dalashane and Alistan. This makes it a lot easier than having to find Alistan somewhere in the world in Calphion or Velia. Then we have the improvements of overloading conditions for large vessels. So before, if you would match the LT exactly to the max LT, you would then immediately be overloaded and ship skills would no longer work. As of this change, if you have 30,000 LT loaded and the maximum capacity is 30,000 LT exactly, you will still be able to use your skills. This one's a bit contentious. I am kind of sad, but it has almost killed me and killed me once in my entire video career. So we have the item drop tier animation removal. This one hurts me a little bit. So improvements have been made so that when high grade items are obtained by loot from defeating monsters, a notification UI is displayed instead of the character cheering. However, if a high grade item is obtained through means other than hunting loot, such as opening chests, the character will still perform the cheer, so it is only during drops from fighting. The position of the notification UI can be changed in the UI editing function. Here we can see it there, the regular drop feed and the pop-up, and you can put that extra feed somewhere else if you want to. Also, reward information has been added to the War of Roses application, and the Find My Items UI has been improved, so that pressing Ctrl F brings up the menu even when the quest window is open. Then we have another small thing, AoS penalty system. So they've recently received many reports regarding behavior where players enter AoS and do nothing, disrupting the enjoyable gameplay experience of others. This update introduces a penalty system for so-called AFK behavior. So now if you do not take any action in the Solar window, a penalty will be imposed according to certain criteria. As these penalties are repeated, the severity will increase, and a matchmaking restriction can be imposed for up to 30 days. However, when the system determines whether a specific play constitutes problematic behavior, established criteria are applied without exception, so they have supposedly set some very careful and cautious standards, taking into account various variables and special situations to minimize the likelihood of penalties being imposed, even when playing with sincerity. So, going through that, we have the system pretty much being implemented. This penalty will apply for doing nothing or performing an equivalent action. They're not going into any details on that. The penalty becomes stronger as the number of occurrences accumulates, and you will then get blocked from matchmaking. When a penalty is imposed, the user concerned will be given the battlefield abandonment points minus 35 points for the match, and no win or loss rewards will be provided. The party assigned the penalty will see a notification message regarding the penalty assignment after the match ends, and when attempting to match while a penalty is applied, a match failure notification will be displayed. First time will just be a warning. Second time, you will be blocked for a day. Same for the third. Fourth and fifth, 3-day block, including the sixth one. Seventh one will start pushing up to 7 days. Eighth will be 14 days. And ninth will be a total of 30 days. The accumulated number of penalties will be reset when the AoS season ends. But if you do get hit with the 30 days, that is pretty much the end of the season in its current state. Improvements have also been made so that the probability of enhancement levels dropping is displayed when the enhancement fails. Finally, we got the fixes and changes. On Mystic, there was an issue with the Venatra gloves. That has been fixed. They also fixed an issue where damage was not applied when attacking defensive towers at close range. They fixed some issues in some areas where installables were displayed differently between remote construction mode and direct installation when constructing fortresses and outbuildings. Then there was an issue in the Lord of Valencia Castle could not remotely install the Valencia Castle Ruins construction method. They fixed an issue where the base battle would end in certain situations during the construction mode. They fixed an issue where the creator appeared awkward in the ship information UI when expanding a ship. Then they fixed an issue where the Dine appearance would be displayed when using the frontal stomp after moving slightly forward while Crocodolo was in the Doom appearance in shallow water. To be honest, why does it have to be Doom? But moving on. They fixed an issue where the jump action occurred when pressing the spacebar while using the auto slot function for the warehouse enhancement bag and family bag. Then they fixed an issue with the adventurer possessed by a black spirit monster located in specific areas of Kafra's Cave was not being attacked by some skills. Then there was an issue with item descriptions of the Troll Dark Crystal and Ogre's Dark Crystal were awkward, which have been fixed. Then there was some awkward spacing in the Sea Totem growth failure message. Then they fixed an issue where the appearance of the Alchemy Stone UI appeared awkward when opened after enhancing the Sea Totem. They fixed some issues where the text of the downgrade destruction prevention enhancement button in the enhancement window was not vertically aligned. Then there was an issue with the border on the northeast of Land of the Morning Light appearing awkward, appearing overlapped with background terrain. Then there was some issues with its experience characters could replay Solar Window. Then there was an issue with the family names being truncated in the Solar Window voice chat. They fixed an issue where the family-bound enhancement materials could not be transferred to the inventory using the remote warehouse function. So then they fixed some issues where the weekly exchange limit for exchangeable items with the integrated currency would intermittently not reset if the time set on the PC differed from server time. They fixed some issues where the only portion of the production-based summons was displayed when clicking the node. Fixed some issues upon opening the Blue Sea Stone box. Additional items could be obtained instead of the one item from the contents list. Then they fixed some issues where the movement speed increase value of some heavy ship equipment was applied lower than the item description. Then they fixed some issues with ellipses in titles that could not be clicked in the mailbox list. Fixed some issues where the appearance of characters and monsters was momentarily visible during the disappearance animation. And then finally we got a bunch of pad mode fixes. One in the War of Roses UI. Then there was one in the key alignment not working in the War of Roses. Fixed some issues where more than a maximum of 10 guild alliance add tabs were created. Guild skill UI with the screen moved left and right depending on pad snapping. Then they fixed some issue with notification message that could not be displayed upon consecutive kills in the base battles. And there was an issue with the alliance announcement not being able to be saved in the guild alliance UI. With that, we are in the TLDR. Overall penalty, I hope it doesn't false flag. That's the only thing. The cheering, I am a bit sad. Like, sure, the cheering has almost killed me once or twice and actually killed me once. But overall, 3 times in, what has it been now, 4 years in BDO, that doesn't feel too bad. I'm gonna miss it because it always was such a nice thing. The weight thing, great. Match it, don't get weight. The energy potions, really great. It is well overdue. Otherwise, market prices going up. It is pretty much inflation. The dried fish varying is a bit weird, but at the same time, the meat and saps being unified on one price is really great. Otherwise, the energy potions going up, same thing again. Item stacking, great for storage minimization. Altar of Blood, I'm looking forward to it. And then otherwise, the class changes. Woosa, it looks pretty much standard. This might be the main thing that Drakania was missing, at least Succession Drakania, just being able to build up some ions. At the same time, you really have an unprotected frontal guard and 2 super armor skills. Finally, we have some more proper super armor skills, especially the Azure Onslaught. That is a very usable skill, very mobile, and being able to get at least 3 ions for that little bit of a kick on your damage again in PvP is definitely a nice thing. The fact that Shift E might will recover 6 now on a hit, that could make it actually more viable, risking that stationary moment where you can get grabbed. Otherwise, getting an increase on the Brimbled Annihilation frontal guard. We have a frontal guard skill, you can use it occasionally, making the risk worth it with 3 to 6. The unprotected, yeah, I mean, unprotected skills in PvP, this is going to get you punished. But in PvE, this will be very much worth it. With the CC protection, if you have the crystals active, it means you can instantly get up that those ions with just an RMB. Because 9, that is already, I think, halfway to full. I believe the max is 18. That is great. Mystic, this could be absolutely huge. It could mean that her suctions are effectively dead, at least if you get pulled from behind her. It has happened multiple times to me that I'm being pulled from a Mystic while she's facing the other way, and I'm being dragged halfway across the battlefield. If I can now CC her because she's in frontal guard at that moment, that is pretty huge. Striker, changes look fine. They just shifted the HP recovery effects around a little bit. The all evasion increase going down to 24, that will make it a lot harder for them to evade damage. I think I'll be able to hit them a lot better. Lahn, this looks okay. I'm not an expert though. It could mean that they really need to choose that skill a lot more selectively. The damage application, it is a little bit of less damage, but overall nothing too grand. And then finally, the Kunoichi Awakening. Yeah, I mean, it looks alright. It just feels like they were trying to bring her down a little bit from being so protected with so much movement. We're gonna have to see if it actually works. Otherwise, there will be no more changes for PvP according to PA, and only some PvE changes coming up. We're gonna see about that though. And with that, I wish you the absolute best of luck. If you recognize that lovely little rock, you can leave a comment, or at least tell me in what region it is. But otherwise, I wish you a lovely, lovely day.